I'm the idiot on the writer's block, and I'm here to talk about side characters. Hi, I'm Marcus, and I'm the idiot on the writer's block. If you're new to the channel, I, the idiot, ask experts for tips on how to write, publish, and promote my first fiction novel. My first novel happens to be the neo-noir graphic novel Culliver City Chronicles, Call 1-800-KILL-A-GUY. Check in the description for links to buy the book. Also, click on this link right here to check out Blurred Without Fear's review of the graphic novel on his channel. It's safe to say I love the review, but hey, don't listen to me, go check out the video. And say hi to Blurred Without Fear. Ernie is doing amazing work educating people on comic books. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more tips on how to write, publish, and promote your first fiction novel. Now on this channel, I've already talked about how to write a great protagonist and how to write a great antagonist. You can click this link right here for all the videos I've already put on the channel. And you can find those 2 videos in that list right there. But one thing I haven't talked about are side characters. What is a side character? Well, technically, I guess a side character is if you have your protagonist here and you have your antagonist here, unless it's a two-hander where it's just these 2 people talking to each other, right? Then you might have a third character right here who maybe introduces these 2 characters together. Or maybe it's the henchman that for this side character that assists this side character, maybe the witty, or the really gruff kind of guy that basically is the bad guy's number 2 bad guy. Or maybe it's the smart talking sassy sidekick to the main character who is there for comic relief. Or maybe it's just the random person who just walks across and gets hit by a bus. I don't know. Or an asteroid. Or a dinosaur. Whatever. Let me actually see what a definition of side character would be. The definition of a side character is a character in a narrative that is not the focus of the primary storyline, but appears or is mentioned enough times in the story to not make them a minor character or a cameo appearance. So I guess the guy that's walking along and gets hit by the meteor is not a side character, but is a minor character, unless that side character that gets hit by the meteor, they are the main character's mother or uncle, and like Uncle Ben in the Spider-Man movies. I don't know. That's what a side character is. It's a character who is not the main focus of the story, but appears in it enough times to add or color the story in one direction or the other. Now, like I said, I've already paid focus on how to write a protagonist and how to write an antagonist. But then I started thinking, what about the side characters? Do I need to have anything special to do when I'm constructing a side character? Well, I could easily go and look it up. But what do I have my experts for? So I threw the question on the writer's block. How do you write your side characters? And here are my experts telling me how to write side characters.
So I actually have a couple of side characters in Ash. And the biggest thing I was looking to do is make sure that there's an importance to the story. I actually had one of my beta readers come back and say, well, why do you have this character in the book? You could have given all the parts for that character to one of the other characters and reduce the number of characters overall in the book. But I didn't really like that. I wanted to have I only have about 6 characters in my book to begin with, so I didn't think reducing it, would have done a whole lot. But yeah, that's the biggest thing. Make sure your characters have a critical role in the book. And in my case, the side character that I was told I should get rid of does have a critical role in the book. It's small as it is. He's the youngest brother of a couple of other characters, and he, more than anything, he provides comic relief. And that was something I didn't want this to be just a strict fantasy type book, all serious. I wanted there to be some comedy in it, and that's what that character provides.
My side characters, well, no, it's really hard to find that balance between your side characters have to help the story progress. They also have to be a foil for your main character. So if your main character's selfish, you have to show, not tell. So you can't tell the reader they're selfish, you have to show them. So a lot of the time, if they have a best friend or, a family member, they can then demonstrate their selfishness or their character trait with that side character. But what's really difficult not to do is to create these side characters that are really obviously, adding the diversity, adding the humor, adding the stuff that your main character hasn't got, because then it's actually quite insulting. So that's hard for us as well, because we've got we've got, at the end of the day, 2 or 3 main characters and some consistent side characters for our whole series, but then each book's got a new paranormal. They have to match the setting, the country, the paranormal community they work in, and we think of the theme. What is the theme? What is it we're trying to say with each book? Immigration was actually quite a big theme in Moscow, and there's a lot of kind of bisexual, feminist, matriarchal themes running through the Barcelona one. So therefore that influences the side characters. They're going to help with the plot. They're going to show the reader something new about the main character, but more than anything, they're also going to reflect that theme, I hope. It sounds very ambitious, doesn't it? What do you think, Jackie?
I would say the challenge is that side characters all serve a purpose, but they cannot only be their purpose. So you have to respect them enough that they're not just there, which we've seen in screenwriting for a long time, and it's only changing now, where someone just serves the one purpose. So when you have a side character and they gotta come in, I'm going to use the barista example again. The barista needs to be there because she's helping the character realize something. Well, how did the barista end up there? Who hurt her? Why is she there? Why is she asking these questions and stuff? So when you respect them enough to give them that second dimension, that's when you get better rounded secondary characters.
Yeah, our secondary characters have backstories too, or at least a need, a want, a very clear kind of defining character trait. I made a lot of mistakes in my first ever book, The Pathkeeper. The friends weren't fleshed out enough, and a lot of people were like, well, you've got these friends in there, but that's just so that the main character had something to do when she wasn't with the guy, and that's really obvious now, and I regret that I didn't flesh them out more, but you learn as you go along. So yeah, definitely.
Side characters, for me, they always just come up when I'm writing and I'm like, I need a new character. I need somebody else to do this. Like, these people can't do this. It has to be somebody else. And then I find myself inserting a new character. And I think the hardest part for me and for other authors that I've been in contact with is when you write this side character that comes out of the blue and you fall in love with the side character, and now you're trying to figure out how to fit them in. And it's pretty intense. And for me, like I said, I create side characters when I'm like, I have a need for someone to do something that's important, but I can't let it be anybody else that's already in the book. So I don't know if that helps or not. It's not something that I'm like, okay, I have these characters and then I have these characters. When I'm writing my plot, the side characters just come as I go.
I'm glad you asked this question, because I don't think it's something a lot of people consider or want to talk about or value, but to me, I love writing side characters. This was actually a flaw at first, because sometimes I found side characters more interesting than my main character, which is a problem. You can't do that. But I find side characters so interesting, and my approach to writing them is that I just treat them with the same effort, time, respect that I would the protagonist. I don't think that any side character should be flat. I know that you can sort of get away with them being flatter, of them just being a foil to the protagonist, but why choose the boring route when you can choose the interesting one? I say make them very interesting. They should have their own wants and fears and desires and hopes and dreams, and they should also have their own agendas. They should have their own traumas. They should have their own, story, and view them as, and for any character, this goes for any character, don't try to view them as their existence begins on page 1. Try to view each character as their existence. If they're 35 years old, then they've existed for 35 years. Then you need to give them experiences and thoughts and opinions and memories that a 35-year-old would have in the real world. Now, like I said before, the trouble is you still don't want your your side characters to eclipse your main character. And one way that I try to balance it out is that the main event, the big thing that's happening, is still the main character's story. So they're still connected to it in some way. So, for example, in my pitch that I gave earlier, my protagonist, it's her friends who went missing. She's the one who really needs to find them. She's the one who's completely alone. And she also, I build in emotional stakes. Like, she doesn't really have that much family, not really close with anyone, so her friends are her family. Like, that is her thing. The side characters also have stakes of, like, I want to find these people because in trying to find them, I'm either going to redeem myself, or I'm going to heal myself, or they have their own emotional agenda for helping the main character. That's a really important thing, I think. Side characters shouldn't just be foils. The main character's story should be helping them or hurting them in some way. Well, they need to be, like, connected. But it's still not their friends who have gone missing. Like, they're not going through the emotional turmoil that the protagonist is going through. And at the end of the day, technically they could quit whenever they would want to, and there would be no real, like, physical consequences for them. Like, they would have emotional consequences, but the main character has the highest stakes, has the most to lose. So what I try to do, just wrapping that up, still give them stakes, still give them desires and wants and needs and fears and agendas for helping the main character or for hurting the main character, feeding into their story. But at the end of the day, they can't be as large as the main character's stakes, problems, what have you. They can be as severe, the trauma can be, like I said, one of the people that's helping her, his son went missing a year prior. That's a huge psychological and emotional thing to deal with, and motivation. But the difference between him and Kate is my protagonist, and it's the side character I'm talking about. His name is Graham. The difference between him and Kate is that his son is already gone and, like, declared dead. Like, I hope people don't think I'm being, like, flippant when I say it like this, but, like, his son's life is not in the balance. It's still her friend, but it's so connected to him emotionally, physically. Like, he still has lots of stakes, but at the end of the day, he's already lost his son. He's already grieved his son. That stuff's in the past. It's not like a present challenge. Well, it is a present challenge he's facing, but, like, his son's life is not a, like, question that he's trying to, answer. Does this make sense? Like, his story has already happened, and her story is her bringing his story forth. But his story would not be brought forth without her story.
There you go. How to write side characters. And none of them were harmed in the making of this video, except that guy that got eaten by the dinosaur. He was real, and he got eaten. Thank you to all my experts for their advice on how to write side characters. You can check in the description below for links to their work. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel for more tips on how to write, publish, and promote your first fiction novel. I'm Marcus, and I'll see you next time. And the asteroid could be like a side character in itself, like it's a sentient rock. It's flying from Mars, and it's coming all the way to Earth, and it's coming down, and it's like, I wonder what this planet is. And it's coming down, and it's like, ooh, this planet looks large. I thought it was small, but that was just because of distance. And it's coming down, and it's thinking, I don't know, maybe I'll greet all the people on this planet. I shall call this planet Marsar. And it's coming down, and it's like, I shall say hi to Mars. And the side character disappears.